What is going on, homies? It's your boy Stumped back for another OPTC video, and in today's video we're taking a look at the new 6 Plus that has arrived over here on the global side of the game, that is ONAMI 6 Plus. ONAMI, the alluring ninja, has finally arrived with this new Kazuna, and I do want to show her off in today's video. So with the new NAMI 6 Plus, she did get a little bit of a buff, and in today's video we are taking down Clash CP9, we have a clip against Arena Kawamatsu, and then we're going to finish it off with the Garp's challenges. But what does she do with her advanced 6 Plus? So her captain ability gets a huge boost. She becomes a bit of a speed captain. She reduces 2 turns of cooldowns at the start of the fight, and then will boost the crew's attack by 3.5. So a flat rainbow 3.5 booster is actually quite nice. But if you have 4 or more characters of the same type on the crew, she's then going to boost the type's attack by approximately 4 times, and then boost their normal attack's color affinity by 1.1 times, and heals the crew's HP by 0.5 times the character's recovery at the end of the turn per perfect. So she's a pretty solid captain now. You can build a lot of cool color affinity teams for content. Because she's a color affinity captain, you do want to sort of devote the team around a particular color, and ideally the best teams that are going to be built with this particular chick are the quick teams. But the fact that she's a cerebral, the fact that she's quick, means that she has access to a lot of very, very good subs, namely the V2 Waifu Batch, stuff like Sunji Pudding, V2 Sherry Sherry, V2 Vivi Rebecca. You also have Smoker on the cards, Sugar, Kaido. You can even find a spot for Versa Kainu under this chick. So she works really, really nicely, but not only can you just build quick teams, you can also build other teams, as you just need to fill out the 4 subs with whatever color you guys need to take down that particular piece of content. Her special actually got a buff as well, which is pretty nice. She now deals damage, which means she can use the Smoker support, which is really, really cool. Or any other support that actually needs her to do damage. As she does 150,000 to all enemies as fixed damage. She reduces the crew's cooldown by 1 turn, which is nice, because she actually has the Sailor ability to reverse 2 turns of special reverse. And if 4 or more characters of the same type are on the crew, she's going to boost the color affinity of that type by 1.75 for 1 turn. If your HP is full when the special is launched, she completely removes defense down immunity and sets all defense to 0 for 2 turns, and then doubles the damage dealt to defense down for 2 turns. She'll then, if you are not at max HP, she then heals 50% of your max HP, sets all defense to 0 for 1 turn, and then doubles defense down for 1 turn. So you still get that conditional boost like she had in her original kit, but now she actually has color affinity as well as doing damage, which is a really, really nice buff. So this particular unit actually got very, very strong with her 6 Plus, and it's a nice change of pace, as most of the 6 Pluses that have been coming out lately have just been a little bit dookie, or haven't been like anything game breaking. But as I said, I do have 3 clips for you guys in today's particular video. So with that said, let's dive into the content. Alright, so for the first part of the video, we're going to be taking on the Clash CP9. This is the team, these are the supports, let's dive in. Now, Nami's best going to be used as a speed farming captain, predominantly when you can build a team that's built around sort of a lot of color affinity. With NAMI 6 Plus, she did get that buff captain ability where she actually has color affinity if you have 4 of the same class. That doesn't mean you have to build a predominantly quick team like the one that you see here, but this is where she is going to shine the most. And this is where I've sort of honed this particular video around that, as we are taking on CP9 and reversing Kawamatsu as well. But the beautiful thing about Nami is she gives 2 cooldowns at the start of the quest, and when you are running 2 of them, that equates to 4 cooldowns. Then you can run something like the Liberal Hind, because she's a cerebral, or you could use something like the Shark Superb like we're doing for this particular instance, and that way we can get some more cooldown as well. With her special, she now gives cooldown as well, which is really good, because she always had that Sailor ability that made her immune to 2 turns of special rewind. So now you can actually, well, she becomes more viable as a sub. With her buffed special as well, she can actually give you color affinity in her special. So she's now a color affinity captain that can give color affinity. She still has her amazing conditional boost. They haven't changed anything with that, unfortunately, but it is still very, very good. So the idea of her kit is basically to just beat content as fast as possible and build a team that has at least 4 of the same color, so then that way you can get access to that color affinity depending on the content. So if you're versing Psi content, you want to bring 4 int subs. If you're versing strength content, you want to build the team around quick. But the idea is basically you want to make sure that you have at least 4 of the same color on the team, so that way you actually get Nami's full 4 times captain. With this particular team, we are running majority quick units, as quick is sort of just good against this particular clash. It fell on a nice day for me, as the strength clashes were floating around, and I already did see a video against Clash A, so I did want to make it a little bit different and decided to take on the CP9. But with the array that Quick now have, mainly Quick Cerebrals, Nami is just going to slot in perfectly as a captain if you guys are missing some of those high-end Cerebral legends like V2 Shiri or V2 Vivi Rebecca, Sanji and Pudding, those types of Cerebral captains. But she can also find her way onto stuff like Kaido teams, as well as even like Versa Kainu teams if you guys need that defense up removal, but she doesn't really work, well, she doesn't have full optimization on that on the Kainu team, but she's going to work really, really good under Kaido. She's going to work really, really good under things like Sugar, under those V2 waifus that we spoke about earlier, or you can even hybrid her up like you will see in the next clip. So as you guys saw there, we just tore our way through the CP9 now. I didn't include the ambush in this particular clip, mainly because like there's just so much going on between both versions of the game right now, and I just didn't have time to sort of hone together a team, and I really wanted to get this video out to you guys to show off that Nami is one of the better 6+ers in the game, and she's definitely one of the better 6+ers we've had in recent times, as lately the 6+ers, besides maybe Blackbeard, have just been a little bit lackluster. Not bad, but lackluster. So that was the first clip against Clash. Let's move on to Kawamatsu now. And for the next clip of the video, we are taking on Arena Kawamatsu and testing the hybrid capabilities of Nami. So this is the team, these are the supports. Let's dive in. Now, as you guys can see, this team does have a lot of high-end supports here. But Nami can still clear this without all those high-end supports. It just takes a little bit longer. The only real crucial one is the Robin on our Sengoku. But I imagine you could probably find an attack booster that also removes Despair and replace Smoker, as Smoker is just a massive attack boost. But with Nami's tags being quick and cerebral, it just opens the door for so many good hybrid options, namely with Sanji Pudding, V2 Vivi and Rebecca, Sugar, as well as Kaido. Now, those last two don't really require the cerebral tag, but the fact that Nami is a quick cerebral opens the door to the fact that she can actually be hybrid with a lot of units. Because she's a Nami unit as well, she has a lot of very, very good supports, as well as being a quick cerebral, which means that she has access to Robin and Chopper, the cerebral support batch that came out just before the Ace Akainu ones. But nevertheless, she's a very, very good unit, and using her as a captain, especially when you partner her up with something like V2 Vivi Becca, and you start playing around with color affinity, if you can make that color affinity work, she can get through content very quickly, as she's designed as a speed captain, but she also has healing. Another reason why I want to show her off in this sort of sense is when you do hit your perfects with Nami, you actually get 0.5 recovery as healing, and if you're running two Namis and you've got something like V2 Shiri as a sub, you can actually abuse that, get above your max HP, and always have access to Nami's 2x conditional boost, provided the enemy doesn't have full immunity. But when I was doing this content, the only issue that I sort of ran into was actually this particular stage here. Now, on this particular stage, we come up against Okiku, and Okiku has an orb barrier, but with this particular team, we're just going to stall it out until we get down to a 1 orb, and then we can just take her out there, as we do have full color affinity on this particular stage. Another thing to note with Nami as a sub now is that special reverse mechanic, as well as the special cooldown she gives with her special. But because she's a Nami unit from Nami was in Whole Cake Island, she actually has access to the Brûlée support. Now, in this particular clip, that's actually what I'm doing here, as I'm using her as a captain. Now, as a captain, you don't have access to her Sailor ability that can remove that special rewinds, but you do have access to Brûlée, which actually gives you a cooldown, and therefore you can use her special to actually give the rest of your crew cooldowns as well. The beautiful thing about Nami now as well is she can actually be your designated color affinity booster, provided you have 4 of those colors on the team. Once upon a time, as a sub, you really only wanted to use Nami if you could actually get that conditional boost off. Now, if you are missing stuff like Sanji Pudding and you are looking for like a good color affinity booster, very similar to V2 Shanks, where V2 Shanks gave the attack boost for the primary color on the team, Nami's actually going to do that for color affinity. So you can actually build some really, really cool teams, and she is going to be quite useful in upcoming content. I have actually seen some teams float around on Japan using her for some of the newer content, as if the content is heavily built around a particular color, like you do see against Kawamatsu, where it's predominantly built around strength enemies, so you want to bring quick teams, Nami is just going to shine so well, even if you aren't bringing a full quick team. Say the content relies on us bringing int units, you can just fill out the team with 4 int units, and you're good to go. Plus, Nami being a rainbow captain now just helps out so much when you are trying to take down those particular pieces of content. And if you are looking for a very fast captain, Nami's going to be your girl. So, as you guys can see here, we are at the end of Kawamatsu. We are going to remove the block orbs with the Brûlée support. Boy. Beautiful. So with the Brûlée support, we can give ourselves cooldown. We can use the Nami specials to give ourselves more cooldowns. We get color affinity with Nami, we get that conditional boost, but unfortunately there is full immunity. Then we can use Sengoku to remove the attack down, get rid of the despair with the Robin support, as well as give us an orb buff. And then Smoker's going to finish it off with his nice chunky attack boost. We've got the chain lock from Shanks' crew from the previous turn. And Bob's your uncle, see you later. We're going to say goodbye to Kawamatsu as we have just so much damage here. Beautiful, so let's move on to the final clip of the video now. Alright, moving on to the final clip of the video, we are taking on the Garp's challenges. Now, I have just included Eneru in this particular clip, namely because Eneru was the quickest to be completed out of the three, but this particular team that you do see on screen can actually complete all of them without any changes, so I did think that was pretty cool. Now, we have been rambling on about Nami and her speed captain potential throughout this entire video, but she does have access to some very, very namely subs. And I have mentioned them already. We do have Sanji Pudding, we do have Sugar, we have V2 Shirishiri, as well as the V2 waifus in VV Rebecca. So, Nami is not only just a very good speed captain, but she also has healing built into her captain ability, as well as that color affinity. That was another thing that got buffed within her captain effect. And this means that if you hit a perfect, you can actually get 0.5 of her recovery as healing. And when you are running two of them, that healing can actually be a lot. Not only does she have her healing, but you also have access to the switch ability of V2 Shirishiri and V2 Vivi Becca, as well as the switch ability of Sanji Pudding. When you combined all of these units together under Nami, or even under V2 Vivi Rebecca, or V2 Sanji Pudding, if you put any of them as your captain, they're all going to work very, very well. And you all of them have a lot of healing. Namely V2 Shirishiri. With the access to the overheal mechanic that V2 Shirishiri can actually provide, you can actually just get so much healing. Every time you hit your perfects, you just get more healing. You have this access to the Zunisha because Nami is a cerebral unit. And that's another thing I haven't mentioned, actually. Nami has access to a lot of very, very, very good ships. You have the Zunisha, you have the Liberal Hind, you have the Shark Superb, you have the Koi ship. She just has an array of ships that work very, very nicely. But with her hitting perfects and actually getting healing, it makes these Garp's challenges a lot easier. Now, I did mention that I only have Eneru included in this particular video, mainly because up against Navy and Hody, it was just a lot of stalling. Once you hit the Kizaru stage on Navy, it's quite tricky because you are relying on your color affinity captains to sort of get the job done. And we don't have color affinity there. And then against the Hody challenge, once you get to the end, you actually need to stall a little bit, as you can't really get your cooldowns as Nami's not the sub, and then you don't have access to Brule because you have the carrot support, but it's a bit wonky, but nevertheless, with the amount of healing this particular team has, it actually managed to get all of them done. It just took them 10, 11 minutes to actually beat most of them, besides Enel. Enel only took 8-ish minutes, which was still quite a long time for a Garp challenge, but in saying that, this is a one team beats all, so this team isn't fully optimized for the Enel Garp challenge. It just worked because these units are so ridiculously powerful. But, as I was saying, Nami's not amazing for speed farming. She can actually just get a lot of long content done. I don't know how well she'll go in stuff like Forest, mainly because she's a color affinity captain. And she doesn't really have as much healing as something like V2 Vivi Rebecca does. She's kind of like a... She's just kind of like a not as good V2 Vivi Rebecca. That's sort of where I would situate her. Wherever you put V2 Vivi Rebecca on a tier list, I would probably put Nami the tier under that, because she does very, very similar things. Being a color affinity captain, has the color affinity in her kit, where V2 Vivi Rebecca have the healing on switch abilities, the end of turn healing instead of hitting perfects, but then have the attack and the orb boost, which is just infinitely better than color affinity, in my opinion anyway. But Nami does have the healing with her special, and then has that conditional boost. So when you put the two of them together on the same team, you can actually pretty much just get everything that you need. You have the chain multiplier buff, you have the attack boost, you have the orb boost, you have color affinity, you have a conditional boost, and it all just works very, very nicely. Then you compile that with Sanji Pudding, with their switch ability being amazing, their utility, and then you've got V2 Shirishiri with their utility, even more healing, their chain buff mechanic, and then Sugar with her bears, just getting around stuff like stun, as you can see here. Just works really, really nicely. But that's going to wrap up today's video, guys. I hope you guys enjoyed this one. If you did, make sure to get in there and belt the like button for me if you're new to the channel. Hit the big red subscribe button too. But guys, wherever you are in this beautiful world, please remember to enjoy the rest of your day. As always, homies, I thank you guys for watching, and I'll catch you on the next one. Lights